Hello and welcome to another episode of Unveiling the Veil, where today we'll embark on a thought-provoking journey into the heart of financial power dynamics. As I say, my name is Nelson, and joining me today is one of the leading advocates, in my life at least, of financial freedom. His name is Duncan. Duncan, how you going?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Nelson, and thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here with Nelson in the studio.
And it's a pleasure to be with you. You're very well dressed today, Duncan.
Thank you, mate. Yeah,
you look like you should be running a bank, in fact.
Yeah, it looks that way, but I always like to dress well when I'm in your presence.
And I dress down, foolishly.
It doesn't matter, because when you're young and youthful, you can get away with that. Yeah, I can't.
Beautiful. Duncan, there's an old adage that I've come across a few times in my life, which is if you own a bank, you can rob the people, and if you control a government, you can control the people. And it's very, it's saying that stands the test of time, and it kind of sets the stage for our discussion today. How do you see I guess it's a kind of a delicate dance, a tango perhaps, between banks and governments in the context of the world we live in today?
Yeah, well, look, Nelson, it's indeed a complex dance, as you say. Very much so.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not a very good dancer.
No, well, I think you might be, but
I'm not very limber.
Depends how much I've drunk, whether I can be a good judge or not. But look, the banks and governments are intertwined in that kind of relationship that balances both the power and their responsibility, and the fate of the people often hangs in the balance of this delicate alliance.
Yes,
Nelson,
indeed.
yeah.
And we've heard stories recently of banks pushing for a cashless society. The argument they say is that it's more efficient. But is this really about efficiency? Because, I mean, we saw the Optus thing, if the internet goes down and we don't have any cash, we're screwed. And so I get the sense of the darker side to this push.
Yeah, indeed, Nelson. There's certainly more to it than just meets the eye, and the banks find that these cash transactions are oppressive, which is, I know it's a strong word, but I'd have to use that word, and they see an opportunity in promoting digital currency where the profits are, and where they can earn from every transaction percentages, and they cut their costs enormously by doing it that way. On the other hand, the customers lose control over their finances, and that's where I step in, because it's an old bugbear for me. I'm here for the customer, not so much for the banks. And we've seen incidences where you've got the fees for digital transactions can burden those customers.
Yeah, sure. Now, the potential consequences of a cashless society, I say, are alarming. It's like, rah! But if the governments make cash transactions illegal, I mean, they have control over the finances. Duncan, what are the risks associated with this loss of financial control?
Yeah, look, absolutely. When the governments control the financial landscape, they have the power to freeze accounts, which is absolutely despicable, and they make decisions that directly impact those individuals. These are private banks that are making those decisions, which is so wrong. It's a loss of financial autonomy for the people, and it opens the door for banks and the financial institutions to profit further through fee charging, and it's so wrong, because the fees that they charge are enormous when it comes to the digital transactions. It might be 1%, 2%, but accumulatively it's worth billions of dollars to the banks.
Yeah, and I can't help think of a John Lennon song in this instance, which is "Power to the People," because the community's response becomes crucial in these instances, and the unity of a community can safeguard these potential threats. So what do you believe is the role of advocacy and community initiatives in preserving the option for cash transactions?
Well, the advocacy, as you say, is key, and we need to raise that awareness about the importance of preserving cash transactions, and also emphasising the value of privacy of utmost importance for the customer, and that financial inclusion and the personal autonomy that the customers kind of they're losing. They are certainly losing that autonomous situation at the moment. And the community initiatives that promote the use of cash and educate people, that's what we must do. Educate people on the risks of a cashless society, and that can make a significant impact once we become cashless.
Yes. And collaboration is another avenue, both locally and internationally. How can individuals collaborate to protect financial freedoms globally, would you say, Duncan?
Well, collaboration, Nelson, is essential. By engaging with international organisations and sharing the experiences globally, we can strengthen the collective effort to prevent the undue restrictions on cash transactions, and that should never leave the worrying aspect in people's minds, because it's about fostering a global community and that values the financial freedoms that are out there.
Yeah. And lastly, technological innovation seems to offer a middle ground to all this. How can technology maintain the benefits of cash transactions while also adapting to modern advancements?
Well, technology should serve the people, not control them, as it's happening at the moment, encouraging the development of technologies that prioritise the privacy and also the security in digital transactions can provide alternatives to cash without compromising individual freedoms.
Mm. Do you have any examples?
Well, for example, the privacy-focused digital currencies may strike that balance.
Yeah. Well said, Duncan. And as we conclude, it is evident the conversation around cash, power, control is very, very complex. A lot of big players at play, but it's one that demands our attention. So thank you, Duncan, once again for shedding light on this critical issue.
Yeah, thanks, Nelson. It's been enjoyable always talking to you in the studio. And to our listeners, the big four banks have made collectively $33 billion in the last 12 months. That's profit we're talking about. So let's have some fun with the banks, give them a little challenge by making more cash transactions, not just any cash transaction. Get out there and spend by using cash and get away from digital
Cash
as much as we can.
money. Yes, bring it back. And thank you to the viewers, and thank you for joining us on Unveiling the Veil. Remember, the power to unveil the truth is in your hands. So until next time, stay informed. More importantly, stay empowered.
And thank you, Nelson.